record? Okay.
Me too.
Have I started my recording? I think so. I hope so. Okay. So maybe also our Ukrainian colleagues, Yana, you can start the recording in the Ukrainian channel. And Evgeny, our tech support person, also, Женя, можете почати запис in Ukrainian channel. Okay. I hope we will manage the technical part. This is something that is nervous now and then, but I believe we will be fine. Okay, let me test sharing the screen. I think everyone should be...
Машунечка, увага, будь уважна, коли будеш включати share, постав відміточку звук голосу. Там саунд включений. Пам'ятаєш, ми зазвичай можемо забувати про це.
Yes, okay. So
Okay.
Screen.
І якраз ми зараз протестимо, бо музика буде звучати, можемо вже запускати, бо кілька хвилин залишилось.
Okay, so we want to test screen and we want to test the sound. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes, we can see it.
Does it look like the right thing that I'm sharing?
Yes, it seems.
Yes.
So,
okay. And the sound, Sandra, you will let me know if the sound is
okay. Okay. Yes.
Do I have the sound?
Yes. It's already starting. Yes.
And you can...
I don't hear it.
I don't hear it, Mariia.
We're not hearing it on the English channel.
I hear it.
And I hear it,
So
yes,
it's like a
in
faint
English,
music.
but it's a little bit soft, soft and low, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do a sound more, Mariia, yes.
Yes, I'll put it up.
Yeah, for me, the sound is the maximum. I wonder if you hear the sound in the English channel, because you may hear the sound from the video only in the original channel.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm going to change channels quickly and see what happens.
The music is very soft, but just curious.
But still, it's okay. It's just the spirit of this candlelight, yes, and just slight music, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to know,
Our dear guests are starting to be here. Santosh is here, Alena here, Denny also, because maybe you can't see others now while sharing the screen.
So
But
everyone's
you can,
here.
but you can see the chat while the people are joining.
Oh.
I think the sound of the music is available only in the original channel. But maybe we can, if you don't
But
hear...
still, we can hear it slightly a little bit, so it's okay.
Let's just make ourselves comfortable, whether you are in the original channel or in the English channel or in the... You just look at the candles together and connect with something that brought each one of us here today. Because definitely everyone has a reason for being here today. We may be fully aware of it, or maybe it will become more obvious for us later that we, in Ukraine, especially after the beginning of the war, we really believe that everything has a reason and everything has a purpose. And when the spirit brings a group of people together, it means that God has a plan for it. So we just really hope that it will be the time that will enrich all of us, the time that will touch our hearts, the time that will allow us to connect to each other on a deeper level, maybe reflect on something in our own lives, on our own losses and grief and trauma and how we cope with these challenges, and also think about the future, where we would like our life to go, how we want to contribute into this world, and what is really that connects us all as human beings. So before we go to the event itself, we would like to remind all of us that we are having 2 languages today. So you may see some like guidelines as to the interpretation channels, right? So we have English and Ukrainian. Our Ukrainian is called French. So when you see French, it is actually Ukrainian on Zoom. You may see the icon of the world, of the globe. This is the place to switch channels. So if you need Ukrainian, please go to French channel and you will hear our Ukrainian interpreters there. And if you need to hear English, please stay either in the original channel or in the English channel. About 80% of our event will be in English. So if you're in English channel, you are safe. And then some people will be speaking in Ukrainian, and then definitely our interpreters will help all of us understand what will be, what our participants will be talking about. A very heartfelt and warm welcome we would like to say to all of you. Unfortunately, because I'm looking at the screen, I cannot see all the faces of the people who are already here. And I hope to see you all a bit later. And we just want you all to know that it's a joy for us. It's a great joy for us to have you today here with us at the Yellow Bloom. This event first took place in December 2023, so we can say that it has already become a tradition for our center. And this event is about love and compassion. This event is, from one hand, a platform to share about some mental health programs and initiatives that we did in Ukraine. And also it's about peace. We do believe that when we provide some services for psychological and spiritual recovery of people, families, communities, this is also something that is making a contribution towards global peace. So we would like to say thank you all for being with us today. We also want to say a very warm welcome to people who will be watching this session later online. And yeah, and may the Lord bless our time together. So our facilitators of the event, we have Ukrainian hosts. It's myself, I'm Mariia Vynnytska. I'm a psychologist and a co-founder of the NGO The Soul, and my colleague and partner Oleksandra Shymanova. And also we're very grateful we have our international MC and co-host and facilitator, Dr. Katie Eastman, who will help us to make this event running smoothly and comfortably, and who will be facilitating our panel discussion a bit later in the session. Okay.
Ernest Hemingway once said, in our darkest moments, we do not need solutions or advice. What we yearn for is simply a human connection, a quiet presence, a gentle touch. Those small gestures are the anchors that hold us steady when life feels like too much. My pain is mine to carry, my battles mine to face, but your presence reminds me I'm not alone in this vast, sometimes frightening world. It's a quiet reminder that I'm worthy of love even when I feel broken.
Мій біль – це мій тягар, але ви завжди допомагаєте мені не відчувати себе зламаним.
Those are the so true words for all of us Ukrainians, and I guess for all the human beings all over the world right now.
Who are we? You may be wondering, who are these people who invited you to come here? We know that we had a chance to work with some of you. Some of you have become our friends, our mentors. And for us, it's really so precious to have this community because all of you made our work possible. So today, as a team, we represent the Ukrainian Psychology Center, The Soul. We're an officially registered NGO. We started working in February 2021. And when the war started, we actually turned into a crisis center, providing free mental health support to people affected by the war. So we are professional psychologists, our team, our organization, and the soul is the focus of our work. And also on a bigger scale, in terms of our identity, we are Ukrainians. So for us, the story of Ukraine is very personal. It's touching our families, our homes, our lives, our neighbors, and places where we grew up. And everything that's happening in Ukraine is touching also our hopes and our dreams for the future. We are people right now who have a lot of questions, which we didn't have before. We maybe found some answers. Many answers we believe are still to be discovered and created, but no matter what, we as a team hope and want to keep our souls alive in the middle of the darkness. And no matter what, we really want to search for light and be the source of light for others. So we're people driven by a mission. We might be a bit romantic in our mission, but we really believe in this ancient beauty of people gathering together around the fire. And we, in our work, we try to gather people around the fire of the soul. We are the NGO that is called the soul, and we believe in the human soul, in the individual soul as one of the most precious gifts from God. We also believe in a community's soul, and we also believe in the soul of humanity. So in our work, we always keep this image in mind, and we like this this photo that you see, that there is a fire in the middle, and this is the fire of the spirit, and this is the fire of the soul, and we want to continue keeping this fire alive.
In real life, we do it through various formats and events we organize regularly. As we know from the psychological and human point of view, touching one soul spreads changes into the family, community, workplace, country, social interactions, and beyond. Before the war, we had live events in Kiev, alive. After the war, we shifted online. We are working daily to ensure this symbolic container, a sacred space for the psyche, the soul, striving to keep it safe and protected when everything else around us looks like a never-ending disaster. Trauma-informed care says having people around you, stable relationships and connections amidst trauma and losses are a crucial point for overcoming trauma. Testimonials from the people we serve are the most precious part of our work, and those people are saying that we are helping them amidst the crises, losses, and grief.
Nobody prepared us to live in the times of war. We heard the stories about the war from our grandparents. My father was actually born in 1919, so my father survived World War II, and he shared some things with me about this experience. But I remember when he was sharing the stories about the war, they just felt so distant, and they felt so surreal, as if this is something that can never happen again to us. War is a huge event that changes and challenges everything we knew and thought before. And this is something that probably 99.9% of Ukrainians didn't expect. although the Crimea was annexed by Russia in 2014 and part of the eastern territory of Ukraine was occupied, but still the war was not what it is now. You can see on the left-hand side, it's an image of the building which was hit by a missile on the third day of the war. This is the view from our family apartment, and I remember when missile hit the building, it really, it just changed everything. This is not something that you expect to see in the 21st century, living pretty much in the middle of Europe. And this is not something that a lot of us expected to see or experience. On the other photo, you may see an image that my mom sent me just recently, a couple of weeks ago. And it looks so surreal. From one hand, you see this peaceful lamp, right, that people often use for reading. And then on the other hand, you see the building that was just hit by a missile or by a drone. Again, when you see something like this, it changes a lot, right? When you see your neighbors being killed, when you hear all the news that Ukrainians are hearing daily, and especially because these news are not happening somewhere there, they're happening in our homes, in our neighborhoods. So we're here from one hand because we want to share some stories about healing. At the same time, the stories of healing, what was before the stories of healing, were many stories of losses and many stories of traumas and tragedies, because war, it's a collective, prolonged, chronic trauma with multiple individual and family tragedies, which are happening daily. And as you may know, the full-scale war in Ukraine began on February 24 in 2022. So just recently, we marked like 1,000 days of the war. And we would like to share a short video. It's like about 1 minute long, just to remind us of the context to where Ukraine is now.
You may have seen these images for 1,000 times, for 1,000 days. They may be starting to blur, but the war should not. Russian missiles and drones still target Ukrainian cities. They are just as deadly as on the first day of the full-scale invasion. Russian attacks on people, culture, and nature are just as devastating. Every loss, every family torn apart, every city reduced to ruins is just as heartbreaking. The threat may blur on the news, but it is just as real. Day 1 or 1,000. Do not look away from the war.
So in the video, right, the man says, do not look away from the war. Yet naturally, we want to look away from the war because we want to turn away. We want to look away from disaster, from pain, from grief, from losses. But for Ukrainians, we cannot look away from it because it's just there every day. So for us, we really don't have another option as to look at it daily and find ways how to cope with it, how to deal with it ourselves, how to support our family members, our friends, our neighbors. And also as psychologists, it's our work now to look for solutions, for tools, for strategies to help our fellow Ukrainians live amidst.
But before we can find the solution, we need to ask ourselves the question. Mariia, we can see the slide now. You can ask.
Okay, something is stuck. Something is stuck. You cannot see the slide. Oh,
We can see it, but it's somehow blurred a little bit.
I'm not sure I can do anything with it. Try a different.
You can restart sharing maybe for a while, a tiny moment. Just stop share.
One. Okay. Oh, now I can see everyone. Oh, look.
Yeah, and start share again. Start share again.
Oh,
with
people,
this.
people love you so much. This was
So
a-
you have done it by purpose, I know.
Oh, yeah, it's so good to see you. Okay. We'll give it another chance. I'm actually looking forward.
Okay, from the last one, when hurricane starts and you are asking the question.
Yeah, okay. Let me try. I think actually something is not working with this slide. I'm telling you. It is blurry, okay, but can you see it? I don't think it will be better. I think it's going to be blurry because it's from Canva. Sorry.
Okay, but we need to do it previous when this person asks the question. Yes, and then we will follow.
Yeah, so it is blurry. Please bear with us.
Okay, let it be blurred.
Mm.
Mhm. When this event of such a big scale as the war enters our life, we feel such as small as this person on the screen. We feel ourselves very small and tiny, and this event, it's like the metaphor of hurricane with whom we are dealing on the daily basis. And this person feels himself or herself very helpless, alone, and small. Next one. And before we can find the solution as the psychologist, we need to understand what is going on the psychological level. And just imagine when you are looking on these images, when something big is happening on us and it's directed on us, we are becoming just full of it. It just like goes inside of us. Just get a feel of those images and try to imagine, for instance, how it feels to be filled with the war inside you and its consequences, losses, ruins, grief, hatred, and despair. It's a small psychological experiment. Those who are continuing to live are not fully alive in the common sense of the word. We all do not know what to do with all of this. Next. And sometimes the only way to get rid of this internal hell and terror is to make other people feel just as bad. And we don't break this cycle. The violence will continue and never end. Because it seems that the only way to stop it for every person is just pass it to another person. There are only two exit strategies for all of these feelings we are having inside of us. You see now all these feelings that enter us with this destroying hurricane power. We are full of those fear, exhaustions, guilt, anger, insomnia, hatred, and so on. And there are only two psychological exit strategies for this. To destroy someone, the next one, or someone's life, or direct this pain towards oneself and self-destruction. And in our therapeutic programs, we are working on changing this model.
Yeah, so this image of the man, like that is filled with war. And when we say war, we really mean all these overwhelming feelings and emotions and questions that the war puts inside us. And as Oleksandra mentioned, the war makes you feel actually extremely small and extremely helpless, because it is huge, it is big, all these feelings and emotions are overwhelming, and a lot of people got into a place of feeling very, very helpless. And the question that we ask ourselves, so, okay, it's happening, we cannot change it, but how can we cope with it? right? We cannot change the war, but how can we cope with it? How can we deal with it? Is there anything that we can still do about it? And there is a phrase that goes like this: joy shared becomes bigger and grief shared becomes smaller. And here you can see an image of the children's hospital that was bombed this year in Kyiv, Ahmadit. It's actually the hospital where I spent many hours of my childhood because of my poor eyesight. My mom would often take me there. They provide specialized care in this hospital. So when this hospital was bombed, a lot of people came there to help to rescue the victims, parents, children, medical doctors who were under the rubble because of the missile attack. And this is just one of the examples which is reminding us that naturally, when something overwhelming happens or when something huge happens, we need help of others. We seek help of others, and we can survive actually sometimes only when we come together as a community. So this therapeutic effect of togetherness is something that we use in our programs. And this is something that we decided in our center as well when the war broke out. We had our Zoom call and we had a chat and discussed, okay, what can we do? What should we do? And it was our decision to try to stay together for as long as we can and try to do something together. So even our center is like a miniature that shows that this strategy can be really like a lifeline when something like war or disaster happens. We also sometimes use a metaphor that can be called like a transformation booth. Basically, remember this person, right, which turned black because of all the experiences, emotions, feelings, states, right, that the war brought inside every human being now in Ukraine. And you become full of it. And the question is what to do with it, how to process it, how to transform it, how to digest it, how to get rid of it, right, as Oleksandra was saying. And sometimes there can be actually two strategies that people may go to as default strategies, because I feel pain, I feel hurt, I just want to make someone else also feel this pain. Or if I cannot do something externally, I will just like attack myself. And what we tried to provide with our program, Ukrainian Circle, we wanted to create a space where people can process, digest, and transform all these difficult, challenging, and overwhelming emotions and experiences caused by the war. That's why we call it like a transformation booth, like the place that the person can come to bring what's really on their heart, what's really on their mind. And that through different tools that we design, create, and use with our colleagues, we try to help people process it, feel support, feel better, find some resources, and then like go back to their lives and just have more resources to deal with challenges, to love their children, to take care of their parents, to do the work they have to do. So like our Ukrainian Circle has become like a space in between, between the war and between like a more resourceful state, where we hope to provide people the space for healing and transformation.
So how particularly this booth works? Ukrainian Circle is the holistic, first of all, mental health recovery and post-traumatic growth program. designed now in the context of the war and humanitarian crisis in Ukraine to meet the needs of the people. So what are the needs of Ukrainian people right now? They are determined by their real life and war situations. By their current situation, war comes at the package deal of multiply losses, tangible and intangible ones. In our program, we help people to deal with traumas and losses in different areas of life and try to help people find strengths and opportunity to live and restore their lives. Ukrainian person, as it showed on this image, is deeply traumatized and wounded in pretty much areas of life. And we are trying to cover all those areas of life in the modules of our program. We designed each topic as a resource for a particular area of life that can be affected by war. Health and body, relationships, sense of home and belonging, financial stability, future, managing emotions, and other topics. But it's not always possible to transform grief, pain, losses into new opportunities just for one seance, just for a week or a couple of weeks. It's not possible. That's why realistically our program is prolonged psychological ongoing support. When nothing is stable, to have some island of stability and reliability is therapeutic by itself. And when the people wake up after another night of bombing, they take their phones to their arms and check up our Telegram channel, they feel that they are not alone. There is always something there for them. This something has become the space of connecting and healing for
Цю
all of
систему,
us.
як все відбувається. Це треба на тренування
It means
нашого
that we
тіла.
are still alive. And people say it's important for them to know that there is someone there is for them on their side of the screen, stable and constant. And there are two levels of our work, strategic, fundamental, and mission-based and daily tactic actions and little steps that we do. Every piece of content that we make is based on those higher level principles and values. That's why they're so helpful. We are firmly standing on our key pillars, Ukrainian architectonics, concept of post-traumatic growth, providing the best practices from the trauma-informed care, working on the prevention of passing further on the transgenerational trauma, ripple effects of care, and finally fostering unity and managing conflicts within one's individual soul and on the level of the whole community.
Well, these are the principles that we use when we design all the materials that we create. And we try to use different tools because some people are more auditory, some people are more visual. So we always try to use a combination of different types of materials. And if we look at the practical and tangible deliverables of the 3 years of our work as an NGO, so you may see some figures here, basically, which shows you the materials that we produced. Like right now, our community in Telegram channel, this is our main platform, is 500 plus people. We also have a community on Facebook. We conducted 50 plus therapy group sessions, created different tools on trauma healing, coping strategies. We have some video lectures on YouTube, which we also share in our Telegram channel. This year, we moved more into podcast space. So total, we created about 650 pieces of different types of content, and everything that we did this year and last year was actually based on the first year of our work when we launched our crisis center, and we conducted more than 200 individual sessions, which gave us an understanding of the needs of people, those who are in Ukraine and those who are outside Ukraine. we are strong believers in the ripple effect of care. It's a beautiful quote. I like it so much. When we heal ourselves, we heal the generations that came before us and the ones that will come after. The ripple effect of your healing is infinite. And as psychologists, we know that hurt people hurt people. And we also know that healed people, even just with their presence, can facilitate healing for others. That's why when we do our work, we always keep in mind this systemic level, that when we help an individual, we know that this person will go to work. This person will interact with his or her children. This person will impact other people around him or herself. So it's an individual, family, community systems. And we also, as psychologists, know that timely support is crucial, because if trauma is not being dealt with in time, it gets capsulated, and the more time goes on after the traumatic event, the harder it might be actually to heal. And there will be just a very difficult process that the person will take place for the person if someone is traumatized, is in the middle of trauma, and there's no support. So we also understand that although trauma is still happening right now in Ukraine, because the war still goes on, we try to address things like as much as we can right now, and to help people process the events that are taking place right now. And our two main groups that we work with, so one big group is actually women, because men, right, they have other tasks and duties at the moment. Most of them have to defend the country. So we work predominantly with women. And because of the war, if you look at the United Nations reports, they say that this is the biggest refugee crisis since the World War II. About between 6 to 8 million of people, mostly women and children, left the country since the beginning of the war. So there are many, many Ukrainian women who are now scattered all over the world. And we work with them. We try to always keep in focus these two groups, those who had to leave their homes because of the war, and also those who are in Ukraine now. Their problems are different, their circumstances are different, but actually everyone needs help and support. And it's a bit personal. This is my family. It's my father, my mother, and my brother. My brother joined the army in February 2022 when the war started. I remember, actually, I haven't spoken to him and haven't seen him for maybe over a year. And this was our first video chat when I was already in Singapore. I was just so happy to see him. And it was actually the first time he was wounded. He was in the hospital in Kübler-Ross. And my brother is fighting for Ukraine, right? My mother is from Zaporizhia. It's the eastern part of Ukraine, which is now under occupation. My father, he was a Ukrainian scientist, a Ukrainian doctor, and he wrote all his books in Ukrainian, even in the Soviet Union times, when people, when his colleagues would tell him, hey, like, Oleksandra, why don't you write in Russian? Your books would be so much, you would have like a much bigger audience, because, right, Ukraine is small and there are like 15 republics of the Soviet Union, and people speak Russian there. And my dad just said, oh, I'm good. I'm good writing in Ukrainian, because he wanted to write in Ukrainian. He wanted to support Ukrainian science. So when I think about this war and why we cannot like turn away from it, or I cannot turn away from it, this is my home. This is my family. This is our life. And we cannot just say, oh, I think maybe I should go and look for happiness elsewhere. It's really a blessing. I feel very blessed now that I'm in Singapore, in a peaceful country, and I have so many loving and caring people around me. At the same time, my heart is grieving daily. And I'm not alone, of course. There are many Ukrainians who are grieving daily. And so for us, it's our home. Ukraine is our home. If you would like to have more information about Ukrainian Circle, so this is the program that we did last year, first pilot. This is the program that we did this year. Please visit our website. So Ukrainian Circle is like our philosophy, our concept that we created. And based on this concept, we designed the program, the modules, and all the materials. So you may visit our website and you may see the reports and stats and analytics from our crisis center, from the Ukrainian Circle last year, from the Ukrainian Circle this year. And our website is work in progress. We had to revamp it completely. So we hope it will be improving next year. And where we are now as an NGO, because as an NGO, right, we do need support from other people. So we're also looking for partners and stakeholders and I don't know, like maybe even friends or people who feel that they resonate with the cause and with the mission that we have. We're looking for people who have a heart for Ukraine, who may want to contribute to healing of Ukrainian people. And we sincerely believe that actually healing of Ukrainian people will also somehow catalyze peace and healing globally, especially given the fact that there are so many Ukrainians now in different countries and different parts of the world. And a lot of these Ukrainians left Ukraine because of the war. So they carry all this pain and hurt within them. And we really ask ourselves now the question, like who we are now, like as a country, as a nation, and what kind of legacy still we can create as Ukrainian people. Will we be able to process it? Will we be able to stop the cycle of violence, hatred, desire for revenge? So we have really many big questions now, and these questions are asking like millions of Ukrainians now. And now our program, we hope to be able to facilitate these real life discussions and conversations in the most peaceful and healing manner.
So when we ask people to support our work, we invite them to support the space of shared human values, like freedom, respect for life and creation, human dignity and justice, in the sense that the light will overcome the darkness. And most important, to celebrate the human spirit, which is the ultimate gift of God and is given to us, to love, to be kind, to show gentleness, to show care, patience, and compassion. Live in peace and harmony, co-creating something together as humanity, but not destroying one another. And yes, this war is very personal to us, Ash, because it's happening in our homes. This is the home, my own home in Bucha, and the photos were taken in the March 2 years ago. This war is happening with our families, colleagues, communities, and neighbors. The neighbors from the second floor in my own house were wounded and died in this particular place. So for us, this question is existential. Will Ukraine cease to exist? Will Ukrainians will be as a nation? This is the question of surviving. And if we survive, what kind of nation will we be? What will be our legacy and impact in the world, if any? And now we are closely touching the question of impact we are trying to make even under those unbearable circumstances.
So now we would like to invite one of our participants of Ukrainian Circle, Alona Kaporina, a very gifted person, to share her experience about participating in our program. Now I'm going to stop sharing screen and we can all see. Oh,
Всім привіт.
Зараз ви всі.
Та, я можу говорити?
uh-huh.
Так?
Yeah.
Та,
Yeah, so we'll just make sure if yeah, English or original. I think now everyone has to go to the English channel. So all international guests, please go to the English channel to see the to hear the translation.
I'm going to speak in Ukrainian, so...
Так, Альон, ти маєш нам говорити українською, так?
Так, я знаю.
Добре.
Все. Тоді я можу починати?
Ага.
Всі переключилися. Добре. Всім доброго вечора. Мене звати Альона Капоріна.
Hello everyone, my name is Alena Kaporina. I am 40 years old. I am a movie director from Ukraine. Now I live in Manchester, UK. When the war began, my life, just like the life of almost all Ukrainians, changed profoundly. But the beginning of war coincided with changes in my personal life. Because in spring 2022, I survived a very difficult divorce. I was married for 10 years.
I'm sorry. Can I just pause for a second? I think not everyone found English channel. So can you please on your panel at the bottom, it might be the icon of the globe, and there you might be able to find channels. Go to English channel, or there might be like a circle with the 3 dots, and there you will see the menu translation. So when people are
Interpretation.
Interpretation, yeah. So when people are speaking in Ukrainian, please move to English channel, okay? Because now the original sound is Ukrainian. Yeah, interpretation. Yeah, all good. Thank you. Sorry.
Окей, бач, що мені робити? Я так розумію, що більше половини людей мене не чули.
Ні, все.
Типу, просто продовжувати? Окей. Добре, тоді я говорила, наскільки сильно війна змінила моє життя.
I was saying how much the war has changed my life. This coincided with the changes in my personal life. I lost my family. I lost my motherland, my home, because I moved to the UK, although I never wanted to immigrate. I never wanted to live anywhere abroad. I also don't have parents. My parents are deceased, and my brother lives in Moscow, in Russia, and we have opposite views on the war. I, in the beginning of the war, lost the only close relative I had because of the war. I don't talk with my brother at all. For more than 2 years, I've been living in Great Britain. Many things have happened since then. I had some falls and I had some rises. The best event here, last year I made a documentary. It's my first documentary. My film, The Rising Sun, was selected to be screened at Manchester Festival. In spring, there was a premiere, and it received an award as the best documentary film on this festival. And it's an amazing achievement for me as a director and also as for Ukrainian refugee in Great Britain. But at the same time, I am living through existential crisis, a crisis that is happening in all spheres of my life. Of course, my film has moved on the festival, but I still can't find my job. I can't find a job but my occupation, and I can't find anything similar to my profession. So Ukrainian cycle has become my fuel. It helps me overcome difficulties. It helps me to move on, and it just helps me to simply live my life. I am very grateful to these amazing women, to these ladies, because I'm on my way to transformation, and I am extremely grateful to have this support and aid. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing your testimony. And can you see the screen now? Yeah, can you see Alla? Yeah, so I'd also like to invite Alla Schweiz. She participated in the Ukrainian Circle in 2023 and 2024. And Alla, we actually don't know what she's going to talk about, but the title that she chose, Can the Dreams Be Fulfilled During the War? So it was wonderful to have Alla with us, and yeah, we would be happy to hear your testimony. Thank you.
Привіт усім. Hello to everyone. It's easy for me to speak in English, but I will speak in Ukrainian as required. Всім привіт. Мене звати Алла, мені 39
Hello everyone, my name is Sala. I'm 39 years old. I am a lawyer and manager. I work on the television.
Всі думали, що все закінчиться завтра.
In the beginning of the war, I was
якось так все-таки вирішили виїхати ненадовго.
We decided to move just temporarily. We went to Poland, and I'm still in Poland for 3 years. I thought it will be temporary, but I've been in Poland for 3 years already. And my life has changed profoundly because I have fulfilled my very big dream, the one I've been dreaming about for a long, long time. I received MBA from a Spanish university, and I received prospects of working abroad, which also was my dream. But I also was going through existential crisis. Of course, my dream was fulfilled.
Oh, thank you for coming back, and we hope that part 2 will be more peaceful. And Alla, please continue your sharing.
Should I continue in Ukrainian, yeah?
Okay.
Тобто я зупинилася на тому, що змінилися цінності, і цей процес, звичайно, українське коло стало реально вагомим.
Ukrainian cycle has become a really important point of support for me.
Важкими, і своїми
This
травмами.
is a point in my life when I faced all the traumas from childhood, everything that wasn't worked out before. I'm really thankful to Ukrainian Circle.
Я реально там змогла пропрацювати всі сфери свого життя.
In the moments like this, I really try to work out all the spheres of my life.
Тобто і на модулі про відносини, тобто у мене якраз
And when we were talking about the module on relationship, I found my scenario, and I also found value in the module finance because
Так, модуль гроші і призначення дозволив сфокусуватися на темі бюджету.
It helped me to focus on the topic of budget and also found my professional archetype and my resources. Now I am actively looking for a job in Poland, and I'm also working on a freelance, and I'm trying to develop my talents, coaching, painting. I found this resource in me. And all the participants of the program have become very close to me. It's a very close cycle of like-minded people. All the sessions were very therapeutic for me.
Хочу сказати, що вчора
I want to say that yesterday I watched the movie Substance, and I had many associations on where the world is going.
Воно може допомогти, тому що, ну, показали,
This really can help, because this movie shows the clash of light and darkness.
Ти не можеш справитися з цією темною стороною, то нічого доброго, якби, цим не закінчиться.
And if you can't battle with the darkness, then it's not gonna end well. It's really important to preserve your light inside. And it's also really important to recreate yourself. I think that all Ukrainians, whether they are abroad or in Ukraine, a lot of Ukrainians are struggling psychologically. And we haven't been talking about mental health for decades in Ukraine, and the war became a catalyst to start talking about mental health. And unfortunately, in the world, there are more and more hotspots. And I can say from my side that this help of Ukrainian circle in all spheres of my life became my source of support. And also from the yesterday's movie, I realized how important it is to have like-minded people. And also you need to have the people that you can share your pain with, because if you don't do this, you are just losing your mind. Everything is just mixed.
Такий досвід, який, ну, реально, і я можу сказати, що от цей момент з кимось поділитися, змогти
This is the experience that really pushes you to share with others. You want to be heard when you are struggling, and you want to be guided. And it was very important. I can tell you that Ukrainian circle collectively could do something that usually therapists do. And I think it's a unique skill to do group sessions as effective as individual sessions, because this therapeutic effect is immense. Today I am wearing red because yesterday was Saint Nicholas Day, and I am trying to wear bright clothes because during the war I am trying to live brightly, because women from different nations, they used to gather together.
І турботи, і взагалі. І от мені здається, що в цьому та сила, яка може врятувати цей світ.
This is our unity, is our power that will save this world, that unfortunately still may happen. I think that this project has a great potential, and I think that it will showcase the example of Ukraine in the world.
Щоб доступу, ну, для психологів,
I was recently talking about a startup that wants to give psychologists access to work collectively with different people, to ease our individual work. It also has business perspectives. Working with trauma also makes a lot of business sense. This is a specific case of Ukraine that can give a lot to world, and I'm really, really thankful for this project to Mariia, to Oleksandra, because I can see that you put your heart into it, and also I thank all the sponsors and everybody who financed this, because I think this kindness is what's going to save the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Yeah, thank you for your encouraging words, and we're really very, very grateful to many people. Yeah, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you for possibility to say it.
Thank you. Okay, now I will try to share my screen again. I hope it will be successful. Please let me know if you can see the screen. Okay. I think Dr. Katie may see someone she knows. So now we would like to give the floor to our, I think first of all, really to our very, very dear friend. Dr. Katie is an amazing professional, someone who has years of experience working with corporate clients, with individual clients, helping people to deal with losses, heal their traumas. She's an executive coach, speaker, author, trainer, and she has been our clinical advisor since the beginning of the war. And she has spent hours, literally hours, supporting us, listening to us, giving us words of encouragement, and just believing in us. I think that Dr. Katie is, I think I've never believed in myself as Dr. Katie believed in us. And it's just so important to have these people in your life who just bring so much light and so much warmth and so much support. And we're also very grateful. We would like to use this opportunity to mention that Dr. Katie wrote an incredible book called Uplifting, Inspiring Stories of Loss, Change, and Growth. This book that can really help people navigate their very, very difficult losses in life. And she has also designed amazing cards based on her to create model. And these cards are also very, very practical and beautiful tools with prompting questions, helping people rediscover their needs, reinvent their life again when they're going through difficult seasons. And we're extremely grateful because Dr. Katie included into this set of the Create cards, a card about the Soul Center and Ukrainian Circle. So now we would like to give the floor to Dr. Katie Eastman and ask her to share her perspective on losses, changes, and post-traumatic growth.
I am humbled beyond words at being here today. There is not a day that goes by that I don't feel incredibly inspired by the soul, by all of you who have participated with the soul. You epitomize resilience. I absolutely loved what you said, Ala. Living brightly. Living brightly. When we think of trauma, we don't think of light. We think of people surviving. What the soul has done is extraordinary. You have taken one of the most difficult, challenging experiences in people's lives that can easily destroy them, and you have lifted them up with a curriculum for mental health that is, bar none, I have never seen anything this good, ever, in 35 plus years of mental health. You have done what people wished they could have done during World War II. After World War II, there was an extraordinary body of literature that came out about grief and loss and the impact of war on people's relationships, their ability to communicate, how trauma impacts people's lives. And you've given so many examples today of how it impacts our behaviors, our dynamics, our families, families. And what you have done is taken what as normally happens with war, intergenerational trauma, and you have transformed it into intergenerational hope. And that is a vehicle to world peace. And I am so incredibly proud to even be associated with you. And a lot of what you all have talked about is breaking the cycle of trauma. The impact of intergenerational trauma is something that can happen when you provide people with the tools you've described. You give them hope. You help them redirect their energy towards something positive. You give them parenting skills. But you also have given them space to be rageful so that they can heal from their rage and redirect it. Without that, they would become, in all likelihood, another bitter result of war. The 600 people you have helped 600 more, who've helped 600 more, who've helped 600 more, and generations to come. And so I really believe that this program has wings, It has the ability to change the world. And I am so grateful to Joan over there in South Africa, because I first became involved when she sent out an email after I had said a prayer asking for, where can I be used? You know, God use me. I'm a therapist. I work with loss. I work with kids. And Joan's email popped up saying, we are looking for people to help my friends in Ukraine. And I jumped on it. And there is not a day that goes by that I'm not grateful to you, Joan, for reaching out. It was the most wonderful thing. And it has changed my life. And it's changed the lives of many, because we are all connected. And all of us here are here for a reason, because we believe in the potential of this program to change lives and change the world. And I really want to give an example of how this program changed another life here in Anacortes, Washington, on the other side of the world. I was watching, or a friend of mine was in Mexico when the war broke out. And her name is Kathy. And she is a quilter. And like me, she said a prayer where she wanted to be some part of the healing of the Ukrainian process. And so she immediately envisioned this quilt. And she was in Mexico at the time and started drawing pictures of it on a napkin in a restaurant. This quilt epitomizes what the soul has done in their curriculum, which is lift people up from the rubble of trauma and give them hope and skills and give them direction and support and each other to help them rise up like the sunflower in this quilt rising from the rubble. And you can see that she has the rubble so beautifully created. She's got the stones. Right behind me is a missile. Up here is a dove. This quilt was Kathy's way of connecting to all of you And she didn't know why until she posted it online and asked, would anyone like to support a charity by selling this quilt? And I immediately reached out and said, Kathy, I want that quilt. She gave it to me. It was purchased by a donor who donated the money, which made it possible for the soul to provide the last Ukrainian circle. That connection has changed lives. And the quilt is now in the hands of Mariia in Singapore. So it's made its way back home. There it is.
Yeah, I will remove blurriness from my screen so you can see. It's just beautiful. Yeah, it just.
And that is a wonderful example of what living brightly is all about. It's about remaining open to what possibilities can come from hardship. And that is what you at the Soul beautifully have crafted in this extraordinary curriculum. And I am so thrilled to say that Seton, who's on here, has an app now that we are hoping to put the Soul's curriculum onto to make it even more accessible to even more people, because it is so effective in helping save lives, but not just the lives of the people who take the program, but their families, their communities, their neighbors, their friends, and their children's children. So what I want to end with is this wonderful image. The quilt has the same kind of image, but those of us from the United States had this film called, oh my God, I'm blanking. Scarlett O'Hara, Gone with the Wind. There we go. Okay, Gone with the Wind. And there's a scene in this film where Scarlett O'Hara takes her hand and she digs into the dirt at the end of the war, the Civil War, and she says, as God is my witness, I will never be hungry again. And it's a very famous line and scene, but it really epitomizes what I see in every one of you and the people you are helping. As God is my witness, I will never. And what I would repeat at the end of that for them and for you is, I will never hate. I will always look for hope. And that is what I believe the Soul is all about. And research bears out that changes the world. If we'd only known during the other previous wars what you have discovered and what you know and what you are doing, there might never have been a Ukrainian invasion.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you so much for all your hours and days and weeks of support, and thank you for making this another miracle possible for us with this quilt. Thank you very much for being our friend and our mentor. We love you. We love you.
Love you too.
Yeah. And now, to continue the story of the quilt, we would like to introduce our next speaker. It's Danny. Danny is my director in Singapore. And this is the photo taken in 2022 in July. I think I just came to Singapore, and I think Danny also didn't know yet that I was going to stay in Singapore. I didn't know yet that I was going to stay in Singapore. And Danny and his beautiful wife, Julie, these are also the people who made such a big difference in my life and also in the life of our team. They have been a huge source of support, also huge source of healing for me. And something that I would really like to mention is that because of them, I accepted the Lord in Singapore. I really rediscovered my faith in Singapore with them. And just a few weeks ago, I did the reaffirmation of baptism in Singapore, and it was just very, very special. I really feel that this is my personal story. I feel there is no way we can heal and transform without God. So I'm just so grateful to Danny and Julie that they helped me discover God. And I really hope and pray that He will continue walking with me and facilitating healing in my own Ukrainian heart, and that He will also enable our team to support healing journey for many, many Ukrainians. And Danny, I think, would like to share something about the rainbows in the storms of life.
So, hi everybody. Again, I think as we said, this is such a privilege to be able to just have this time with all of you. And I think, this is so international. I don't even know where most of you guys are. Definitely, it's about 2:30 in the morning. Mariia, I don't know how you can be so alive at 2:30 in the morning. I'm really struggling, but let's see what I can do. Now, share some stuff. Can you all see this?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, right?
Oh, flowers.
Is that coming up?
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
I think, I mean, really, before the war, never quite understood, what war really means. We read about it, we kind of know a little bit about it. Because our parents, dads passed on, mom's still around, and they did live through the Second World War. And in my life, I always said, I was very privileged, never been able to see a war, and I want to see one, experience one. And, we men in Singapore, we have compulsory military training, 2.5 years of our lives, full time. After that, we actually have a continuous training, about 2 weeks for a month, for the next 30 years up here. So, and all this time, when we do all these things, we just say to ourselves, it's just to get fit, it's just to be a deterrent, it's just to be able to just keep it as a sport, And I never understood war until I think, Ukraine had the war started, and I guess Mariia being a part of our journey, my wife and I, we've seen her pain. We've seen her tears. We prayed with her, we have cried with her. And, it's been a very, very difficult season for her, I think for all of you, especially those of you who are upset. So our heart goes out to you. We really love you. We're not alone. We just want to share that, just hang on with that. There's a plan, there's a plan, there's a purpose. Anyway, just want to very quickly go through some of these things, just some thoughts, and I've come to learn a couple of things, right? Storms, they come, they disrupt things. But really, as we look back in life, as I look back in my life, I look at crises, I look at problems that I faced, I realize that a lot of these storms have shaped us. A lot of these storms have made us more resilient, created new spaces, created new opportunities, and has allowed us to actually become better people, stronger people, and have opened a lot of new doors. And just looking at this group, one of the very things that I rejoice and I'm totally grateful for the friends that we have in this Zoom meeting. I met some of you, in Singapore, mind you. And it's been a very rich encounter. And so this is one of the amazing things that's happened. We have brought people from all over the world together to actually be in this journey and to be part of this journey. I think this is one of the gifts that has actually really happened to each of us. in the school. We have now become friends. I always said to Mariia, one day, okay, and I hope it's going to be soon. I hope to be in Ukraine. I hope to meet all of you. We're going to sit down, no longer in Zoom. We're going to be able to celebrate, you know, just see each other face to face and say, you know, it's about time we met. Time we became friends for the rest of our lives. Now, storms, rainbows. Gone through some crisis in my life, but I don't think there's anything that is so severe that's compared to what a lot of you in this group has gone through. So let me share something that's inspired me. This is a story, a real story. I was very young then, and I read this book. I read this book about this lady. Some of you may have heard this lady. Her name is Joni Eastman, and she was about 17 years old. She was in sophomore, she was in college, and everything was looking good for her. She was playing basketball, she was horse riding, she was doing well in her studies, and she had a really loving family. But the story goes on July 30th, 1967. She took a dive. She misjudged the depth of the water, and she landed up paralyzed. Yep. And she was paralyzed. And she was just going through all of this young lady in life, and she was wondering what went wrong. Yeah, she couldn't pull herself together. And a book that she's written many books, in the book that she says that during these years of rehab, 2 years of rehab, right? She experienced anger, she experienced depression, she was suicidal, and she actually doubted even the possibility of her faith and who God is. And why would God even allow it to? And go Google her now, right? I just want to share, we don't spend too much time. You go Google and learn about her life story. It's an inspiration. I was a little boy and was very inspired by her when I read the book and the Bible. And instead of just giving up, you know, she didn't just sit there and say, you know, life is bad, you know, only gone and paralyzed. She became quadriplegic, meaning to say that from her neck down, she could no longer move. She had a lot of difficulties. And so a young girl, 17, her life changed. Everything changed. But you know, the story goes, and she's written, she did not stop. During her rehab, she learned how to paint. She learned how to paint with her mouth. And through the years, she has done amazing paintings. Now, again, I'm just going to show you some of the paintings. This one's special because we look at it, okay? The title of this painting, right, is actually of the struggle with butterfly, or this pupa and caterpillar trying to metamorphosize. This is her watercolor painting. I was painting by her. And then remember, this is a thing of Van Gogh. Van Gogh, this is the Starry Night. She picked it up and she decided to also practice some of these things and learn and innovate. And she painted, okay, something quite similar in style. And it's called The Three Kings. And so this girl, at 17, her life changed. Everything was taken from her, the possibilities. But her spirit never, she pushed on. And if things were going to be working for her, she actually got married. And she married a teacher and an athlete, you know, and they lived and they did a lot of ministry. And today I believe she's about 75 or more, right? And we grew old together. And they started this thing called, okay, Joni and Friends, right? And she started inspiring the world, right? With all these about handicaps, about struggles, and never giving up. And she's been international. She's written 40 over books now, right? And 5 doctorates, okay, that's given to her. And she continues to support people right? Who have a disadvantage, people who do not have the capacity to live their lives perhaps the way we want to live, or the way we want to live. And I think she's an inspiration. She's somebody that looks life as this, whatever it happens, I have the capacity to look at it from the positive side. And so they started this foundation for Journey of Friends. And she says this, okay, God seemed to be saying to me, Journey, what has happened to you with this paralyzing accident for one day sin? This purpose of sharing. She has spoken and traveled wonderfully, and she's blessed many people. And can you actually say that? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I look at my life and I feel like, I mean, it requires a lot of resilience, a lot of guts to be able to sit down and say, the greatest good suffering can do for us. Please not us. So I mean, we all know that life is very fun. We all know that we all have experience. We all know that we cannot live forever, regardless of our circumstances before us. But the reality now is, what are we going to do with our lives? How does it look at that? How do we move on? Right? And she writes all these things. We go to her website, we go to this Facebook, Journey and Friends. She says, we just want to keep in our faith money, the faith to understand that God is faithful. He never leaves us. He's in all situations and situations. And I think that's something that I want us and myself to hold on to. That regardless of whatever happens in our life, regardless of what curveball gets thrown, there will always be a God that we can turn to. There will always be a God. And there will always be a purpose. If only we dare to look at our lives, and dare to look at the possibilities, and dare to look at what difference we can be used or we can live in the circumstances that we're in. So the question is, do we know that? I think those are very important things that life, death, wars, crisis throws at us. What are we going to do? And I just want to share with you. In Joni's website, a thing called Joni and Friends, she actually, during the war, wrote this whole thing about how we can actually pray for Ukrainians. All right? And in the war, okay, she actually rallied people with the capacity to sit there and say, we need to stand with the Ukrainians. We need to be able to journey with them. So you all are not alone. This war is not just about two countries. This war is not just about the alliance and virtue. This war involves many lives. Mariia, just for the record, I've been recording, my wife and I, this chat group too, we have inspired us. We have challenged me to look beyond everything that we can possibly have in this physical world. We have looked at everything that we can have in terms of our security and comfort, and we have taught me, right? Never to take things for granted, but always to look forward, and always to have that hope, always to know that tomorrow will come, and there will be something that I can do, and I need to do. And God is not done with me yet, as long as I still have it. And so these are the challenges, right? I just want to show you to Mariia. I belong to a Methodist church. Mariia's talked about being in the church that I go to. We actually have the Methodist church in Singapore. So we're praying for all. The world is with you. The world has not forgotten. The world has not gone to sleep. The world continues to support so many different ways. And just want to encourage us to finish off very quickly. And we need to take heart that the will of God never takes us to where the grace of God will not. And this is the reality. This is where it stands. And this is what we need to find. That peace in that storm. And we need to look forward to the rainbow. And I like this. We all talked about healing. We talked about not having hatred. We talked about moving on. We talked about changing. We talked about forgiving, grace. And this is from Martin Luther. I know most of us, like all of us, know this. It says darkness cannot drive out darkness. We can't be a part of the casualty. We have to rise above it. And the soul is contributing towards helping us to do that. Hate not drive. So let's take that this, okay, from Martin Luther, and just remember. Let's remember that we need to be able to rise above whatever pain, whatever circumstances, whatever will happen tomorrow, we don't know. But to know that we have hope. We have hopes. And so I just want us to realize that there is evil. There is a sense of purpose, regardless of whatever the circumstances we are thrown into. And you may look in life and you may feel that it's the end. You may feel that everything doesn't work. With the way Johnny looked at it, it's like, what's the point of living? Had everything, and now can't move and paralyzed. She never stopped looking forward. And she never stopped looking at the potential. Let me just end. I don't know if I can play this. There's a song here. There's a song here. You know, apart from painting, what Joni did was she actually sings too. And there was an award that was given. Anyway, and what happened was this. Because of her paralysis, she needed to train her vocals. And she needed to train her lungs to hit all those notes. I just want to end with this inspiration because there's this award, that she was given, and the ability to actually sing during this point where there's a movie that was made of her and her journeys. And I just want us to just pay attention, just be inspired by it, right? Now, those of you who are old enough, I thought a lot of people, Mariia, you're very young. I do see some people about my age, perhaps. You remember this guy?
I'll just make sure that we can all hear the sounds. I think everyone has to be in the original channel to hear the sound.
Okay. The myth and the legend. This is Pat Boone. Now, how many of you know who Pat Boone is? Yeah, you will actually age you. I'm just going to move it a bit forward. Okay, right? I just want to shut this out and listen to her song. And the title of the song is based on the movie. It's this. It's Alone, but not alone. Oh, treasure, an earth angel, John Erickson taught it. It's the light of God. It is love, leading to our wilderness. She's the way I know is in this way by this day she show that's in my days she all his love is now. When my steps are lost,
The sound is a bit delayed.
Not forsaken, not all. I can so but somehow if I stop
I don't know, it's for me, Daniel, but the sound gets a bit delayed. Looks like a beautiful song, and maybe we can also share the link with everyone after the event, because it's a bit difficult to really fully enjoy it on the internet, on Zoom, because of the delay of the sound. Can you hear me, Danny?
Yeah. You can't hear this, huh?
Yeah, the sound gets a bit delayed. We would be happy to listen to the song. If you can share the
Okay.
link with us, then we can share with everyone in
Okay, sure. I'll do that.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, okay. I just want to enter the song and just to say to all of us here, right? Hey, sit there, hang in there. You are loved, you are supported, and we're here for you. God's here for you. Yeah, you're not alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much. This is so precious to feel that we're not alone. And this is something that kept us going from the very beginning of the war, because it was so frightening and it was so overwhelming. And, you know, seeing people who let us know that we feel you, we see you, we're with you. And then all of you really, you just changed the life. You just really changed our lives. Yeah, with all your love and care and support. Thank you so much, Danny, and thank you, Julie. Thank you for supporting our team, for supporting our work, and thank you for all the blessings that you brought into our life and this and the hope that you are giving us. Thank you, and it's also a very encouraging story. Yeah, stories like this remind you that there are no limits to human spirit. Yeah, you should just persist and always have faith and carry on. Thank you very much, Danny. And now we would also like to invite someone very, very special to share with us. Let me open the slides. I would like you all to see this amazing person who made actually Ukrainian Circle possible in the very first place. I just think that we're so blessed by the people that we met in the last few years. We're so grateful to Dr. Katie. I think that Santosh discovered us through Dr. Katie. Katie brought also many blessings into our life. And Santosh is a man, sometimes I think a few words, but a lot of actions. He's just an amazing person with an incredibly big heart. He's the person who supported and funded our work last year. He's the person who allowed us to create Ukrainian Circle in the first place. He's a producer, a philanthropist. He lives in the United States, and as far as I know, he's from India. He's doing a lot of humanitarian work in India, in Ukraine, and he's just thank you, Santosh, so much for everything you're doing for Ukraine. I think you're helping people with food, with building communities, buying benches for people just, to sit and chat. And you're also supporting our programs, mental health work for Ukrainians. We just really are so grateful to have you with us. And thank you for everything you're doing for Ukraine and for our team. So now we would like to give the floor to you to share what's on your heart today. Okay, you're muted. Yeah, please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. I have to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time serving in Ukraine and with all the beautiful Ukrainian people we've met around the world. So I have to say, Dobry den, Dobry вечер for some of you. Um, so it's I've loved enjoying learning the language, the culture, the music. I have a little presentation. I emailed it to you, but I can open it on my file too. Should I
Yes.
open it? I can
Yes.
open it? Okay. Okay. So I wanted to share, can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but I've been getting goosebumps listening to all of you because the things you're sharing are the things that I've been realizing so much in my active effort. I'm not academically trained in psychology, but I have studied deeply, and my religion is humanity, and I practice humanity in every single moment. And when you live for the beauty of humanity, you realize these things. And I wanted to share some insights, some things about the past, and some things I'm actively working on now. Um, Everyone always asks me, why did you go to Ukraine? Do you have some connection, family, friends? I said, nope, nothing. It's just the philosophy that we're all one family. And so I've always been raised to believe that, we're all one connected family, and compassion is the only real passion. And that's what drives me. Compassion drives me. I've always been fascinated with literature and storytelling because I think we learn more about humanity and different experiences in studying the stories that artists have been working to tell. And one of the most important things in studying art is not looking at it literally, looking at the figurative, the symbols, the meanings, and the relationships, and so on. And Mahatma Gandhi always said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And so service has always been what I do when I don't know what I'm doing, I'm scratching my head. I said, let me just go serve anywhere in the world. And every time I do that with 100% dedication, all these things, answers just come. And so I always find answers in just serving humanity. And so that's why. And one of my favorite things I discovered when I was in Ukraine was the power of the bandura. This instrument, my gosh, the range, the emotion it creates. And, music can be very healing, spiritually tapping and so on. And I would just, this young girl would play the bandura for us. One time she knew how much I liked it so much, they threw a surprise concert for me. And of music. And so that instrument was one of the most beautiful things that I felt spiritually awakened me when I was in Ukraine, listening to it. And it's hard to find here in the US and other places, but I have found one bandura artist in New York City, and so, but it's a very powerful, spiritually engaging instrument, I believe. But a big part of, ironically, many of you have touched on this, but these are some of the things I've learned in all of my journeys and all the adversities that I've had, and is that the enemy can only conquer you if they can conquer your mind, and this is why my support for Ukrainian Circle is so important, is because we have to make sure that the mental health, the mindset of the Ukrainian community, both in Ukraine and spread out around the world, that mindset stays strong. Stay strong. We only lose when we give up. If you don't give up, you don't lose. And we give up when our mind is weakened. And one thing, I'm going to go into my next slide a little bit before this, but I've been recently working on a documentary on the oppression of caste in India. And in studying for that for the past year and a half, we've been studying systems of oppression around the world. And there's this whole section of what we call intersubjectivity, of how other people try to convince you to make you think you're less. And so there are malicious things that happen in the world. Even though we're one humanity, we love humanity. Humanity can get lost sometimes, and unfortunately, people will try to make you believe that you're lesser than. And my support for Ukrainian Circle is to make sure that no Ukrainian ever feels they're lesser than, no matter what the propaganda, the politics. I think this, when I study the history of Ukraine, and one of the most difficult stories for me to hear about was about the two flags. One of the stories they tell. We don't. These are just stories, but they're symbolic. We have the yellow and the blue, and then we have the black and the red, or in black. And people tell me that that the other flag represents the yellow-blue flag, but in the history of blood that has been soaked in the soil of Ukraine. And if you shade the yellow-blue flag with the red, with blood, it turns into that red and black. And that narrative too is just can be very hurtful and traumatic and represent the trauma of the past. But it's important that we continue to fight and uplift. And so I believe that mental health is so important. And why I believe Ukrainian Circle is so important is because that mental health provides us the tools to manage our journey to become better and to be the best versions of ourselves. The techniques that I've always found are things attaching to a higher purpose. So when I go do service in the service of others, I'm attaching myself to a higher purpose and uplifting my mindset through service, learning to laugh, learning to accept that we can't control what may happen in the future. A lot of anxiety comes from thinking, I don't know. And sometimes it's about that going along that journey to accept that I don't know is actually perfectly normal. And how many of you recognize this shirt? Do you know where this shirt is from? Anybody?
Believe?
Yeah. Anyone know what TV show or show this is from? Katie knows?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, say it. Say it if you know it.
Isn't it Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso. That's right. Yep. So Ted Lasso, and I know, I like this shirt because it's yellow and blue. So I like to always wear my yellow and blue. But I also believe in the importance of believing. And in that show, it's of the journey of a team, an underdog, on their journey to victory. And you can't get to victory at all if you don't start with believe. And so when I was in Ukraine, my favorite saying, I just thought it was so beautiful. I would see it everywhere, is "Se bude dobre," and I fully have adopted "Se bude dobre" in everything in my life. It's such a beautiful, powerful saying. I love saying it all the time, and even when I'm not around Ukrainian-speaking people, and I get a chance to explain that, but it is, "Se bude dobre" is such an important, powerful thing. But can we really believe that? Do we ever doubt that? And it's important to mental health that we firmly believe in that. But in the last year, I wanted to share is that these things you're facing are universal. They are everywhere in every society. They just take different forms. This form here right now with the war is one thing, but I think the tension has always been there to some extent in the parts of the world. And same thing, these tensions exist in different realities around the world. And in my study of the oppression in India, I've learned so much about how mindset has such an impact on your well-being. And it's not just, I feel bad today, I feel sad today. It can affect the long term in your journey, not only of you, but of your families and your future generations. And the connections are all between the mind to the body and spirit. And in studying this, in India, there was a book that one author wrote about the oppression of caste, and that book is called The Trauma of Caste. And it goes into, the central nervous system and how trauma can affect a wide range of issues, for a very, very long, period of time. And we experienced in our filmmaking, we were filming a documentary and we saw, oppression. One of our sound technicians locally from India was not allowed to enter into our hotel. And it's because of this racism, let's say, or casteism for people of lower caste. And my white American filmmaker friends said, well, how did they know? You guys are all brown, we're all, And so I said, well, we know. And I said, well, how do I know? And I started thinking about, why do I know? I mean, I've lived in India, so you recognize these things, you see these things, and you know it growing up. But the reason you know is because it affects body posture, body language. And so those people from lower caste oppressed communities, marginalized communities, you may see it in your day-to-day lives, head down. There's signs of submission in your body language. And so it's easy to identify. In many of the interviews we did, many of the oppressed individuals who are very prominent people, they've become doctors, professors. They told us stories of how they were in certain places and people knew they were lower caste. And they would say, wait, I'm a doctor. How did they know that I'm from this community? And it's in the body language. And this is where trauma over generations passes through. And it's not necessarily because you may individually have faced the same trauma as your parents or ancestors, but over time, it's body language. Children will learn how to behave from their parents. So one artist, for example, told us, I didn't even know I was being oppressed until I moved to the city. He said, in my village, we just thought we also had to sit on the ground. We couldn't sit in the chairs. I didn't know. We just always sat on the ground, and I was conditioned, right? And we did certain things, we behaved certain ways, we acted in certain ways because that's the way I saw my parents doing it. My parents saw how my grandparents were doing it. And I did not even know that I had been a victim of oppression until I moved to the city and people started asking me, why are you sitting on the ground? And he said, it was confusing for him. He didn't know. And then he realized it was through generations of conditioning. And so we have to catch it, through mental health and awareness. We interviewed so many mental health specialists and psychologists in India to learn of these things. And when you study these things, you realize it's not just in India, not just in Ukraine. This type of oppressive behaviors are everywhere. And to fight that, we need mental health. It's just to become aware and not, even those of us and unfortunately, I would say that in India, I would be considered coming from the class of oppressors. So my ancestors were oppressive, I guess. But even in my own behavior, through mental health awareness, I'm becoming more cognizant of things that I may have been conditioned to. And so mental health is really very much of an inward journey to understand and unwind the history of conditioning that each and every one of us has become, has allowed to incorporate into our identities, our expression, our individualities. And so, I just want to be the best human and love humans for whatever they are and humanity, but to do that, to be a better human, everyone can benefit from mental health and that inward journey to understanding how each of us have gotten to where we are today. But most importantly, we have to believe and have faith to allow positivity. And so we did see, and I myself, for example, whenever I deal with these things, we talk, and I meant in the slide about releasing the positive hormones. For me, those things have been, running is my happy place. I go for a run, I'm happy, releases things, and then I spend 30 minutes stretching and doing yoga and meditation, maybe an hour, and there are things that happen, like improved body posture, improved breath work, lowering your heart rate, all these things that, and get into a calm state of mind. And so it takes work for all of us. And then it's a matter of having discussions, talking through. There's nothing wrong with talking through things with therapists and specialists to understand and arriving at understanding. And I would say that my co-directors, my co-producers, my entire team on my film, this particular film I'm working on, when we're filming in the field, you're taking long bus rides to remote places. We're having therapy sessions together, I think, because we're debating and understanding, what did we just experience? Let's go through it. Let's understand it. How do we process it? And comparing Eastern thinking versus Western thinking, So one of the most amazing things I just learned recently in our work and our research was that even concepts like ethics and morality are Western. They don't appear in Eastern philosophies, South Asian philosophies. And so, wow. So how do we get into ethics and morals and asking ourselves, questioning everything that is a part of our identity today? Because what we want to do is just be the best untainted humans that we can be. So, I've enjoyed this journey. And nothing is better than having opportunities like this to celebrate and see each other, So this picture was taken in January of this year, over a year after we started working with Ukrainian Circle. And it was just a pure joy, a wonderful experience to meet Danny, Mariia, and they shared some great coffee with me, which is one of my favorite things. And so they gave me some packages of coffee from Thailand and made me so happy. And so now I get to run, have good coffee, and be in a happy place, So thank you for all your great work. You're doing amazing things, and so happy to hear the stories today. Keep it up.
Thank you, Santosh. Thank you so much for your sharing. It's so important what you say about body. We also understand that so much is actually sitting in our physical bodies, and part of our work with trauma is also helping people process things physically. Oleksandra is very good at it. She's often offering people some physical exercises, and yeah, it's a long journey that we still have to take, working with our emotions, with our physical state, with our mindset. And it's just really wonderful to have people who can show us what's working in different parts of the world, because I think that we Ukrainians really have to be on a fast track in terms of learning, from the best and applying it in our lives, because we don't want to be in this victim mode, as a nation. We want to be able to recover, to heal, to find capacity to process what happened, and just to move on and be strong as a nation and contribute to the world as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity to learn from all of you, and thank you so much for your compassionate and caring heart. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we are going to move on. I think we need to share the screen again, and we'll just have a couple.
Mariia, how do you think maybe we will give the word now to Polina and Anya? Yes, to short little bit of time. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so now we would also like to share a couple of words with one of the participants from our Ukrainian Circle 2024, and Polina was actually in two roles. From one hand, she was also our co-trainer. She facilitated some sessions, group sessions for our participants. She recorded some lectures. She's a financial consultant and a certified USA trainer on financial literacy. And it's actually very important: finances, sport, career, how to make money, how to save, how to get back on track with your life in terms of finances is really a big question for a lot of Ukrainians now. So we were very blessed to have Polina with us, that she could share her knowledge and experience with our participants. So she was, on one hand, also a co-trainer and co-facilitator of the Ukrainian Circle 2024, focusing on financial well-being. And also she was following us on Telegram channel. So now we would like to give the floor to Polina.
Я можу говорити?
Так. Питання, в якому ви каналі? В українському.
В українському, так. Скажіть мені,
Okay,
будь
so
ласка, мене добре чути?
Polina will start speaking. Can you hear the interpretation well?
Тобто я можу говорити, правильно?
Okay, can I start speaking?
Дівчатка, я можу говорити, правильно?
Can I start speaking? Right?
Так.
Поліна, ми вас чуємо, можете говорити.
Зв'язок не дуже добрий, тому я перепитую на всяк випадок.
I don't have a good connection, but let's try it. I am Polina Trofemenko, and I am doing financial consulting. I am a certified trainer of cash flow game. For more than 5 years, I've been teaching this. Since the beginning of full-scale invasion, I stayed in Ukraine. I never evacuated abroad. And my husband is right now protecting our country. My mood was all about aggression towards Russia, and I was full of revenge. But also I felt the urge to help, my friends and other Ukrainians.
Але ми живемо з приємною великою родиною, з 3 собаками, 2 котами.
We live in a very big family. We have dogs, we have cats, we have 8 people in our family and pets. And I'm so happy to be able to keep working. I know that the knowledge of financial literacy is still needed for Ukrainians. We continue teaching financial literacy. We continue living despite everything. I know that one day the war will be over, and I believe in victory. I also know that cash flow, ability to find extra revenue, ability to save money will be very necessary. And it will be one of the tools for the victory. I transfer my knowledge to the big circle of Ukrainians. And I am extremely grateful to Ukrainian circle because they act as a mediator and they help me to transfer my knowledge. It is important for us to feel safe because constant shelling of our cities, they happen every day, they happen several hours per day, and it's really important to be able to find the support online because you don't often have an opportunity to show up to some offline meetings due to the threat of shelling. And I am extremely grateful to Ukrainian circle. This is a very powerful team, a team of superheroes that are saving Ukrainian society from stresses, from fears. Because in Ukraine, you are constantly in fear for your life. You are constantly in fear for the life of your loved ones, and you find it hard to deal with. that the Telegram channel of Soul is just a wonderful, wonderful format, wonderful tool. On their Telegram channel, they regularly publish some really useful materials because we are dealing with disbelief and constant stress, and it really distracts us from living. And I want to keep living, and this is what Soul helped me to do. This is not just a one-time aid. It's a community working on regular basis. Mariia, Oleksandra, Yana. I know that I can always reach out to you. I know that every day you publish useful materials. It always helps us. It always helps not only us, but also those who are near. I think that this project is extremely important for Ukrainians. And I understand that those ladies who are incredible, they truly care about us. They truly care about our mental health and well-being. I'm grateful, immensely grateful to Ukrainian Cycle, because you transform our stress and our disbelief. You transform it into love. Ukrainian Circle gives the desire to live and gives faith in the future. I thank everybody, and I thank personally to Mariia, Oleksandra, Anna. You are doing an incredible work, and I am extremely grateful.
Thank you, Polina. Thank you so much for your encouraging words. And we also felt so blessed that we could work with you together and that you could enrich our participants with your knowledge. It was really, yeah, it was just pure joy, I think, for us to find you. And we're looking forward to more opportunities to working with you in the future. Thank you so much for your testimony, and thank you for joining us today. We know that you have another event, so thank you for taking the time to come today. And
I will be happy to continue cooperating with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now we would like to invite a very special person for us as the Soul Center. This person is special because she, her name is Anna Zhuravdova, and she was the participant of the Ukrainian Circle last year. And Anna is a psychologist. And after she completed the Ukrainian Circle last year as a participant, this year she joined our team as a psychologist. She is specializing in working with parents, children, educators, and we would like Anna to share a couple of words about her experience and her journey.
Вітаю. Ми сьогодні разом, як і минулого року.
As last year, I'm together with my daughter.
Так, скажи.
And there was my daughter wanted to say something in English.
Івана почала вивчати англійську в школі.
Ivana started to learn English at school, and she really wanted to address our international friends in English.
Життя до, яке воно було?
This was my life before the war. In 2022, I turned 40. in the beginning of February. And I started to work as a psychologist, and it was my dream job. My daughter was attending kindergarten. We were battling with the crisis in our family life with my husband, and we were doing it pretty well. And then life after happened. These are first days of full-scale invasion. And we had a science project on our windowsill. We were growing the seeds of beans, and we had to show the results of our science experiment in kindergarten. But this plant didn't grow because the war started, and we left our home to the safe place. All Ukrainians know this feeling. Sirens, basements, you receive a lot of information, and some of it's fake. We didn't sleep, we didn't eat, we laughed, we cried. In March 2022, we left Ukraine for Poland. We had only very little suitcase. We packed only the most important because we were thinking that we are going to Poland only for a couple of days and we wouldn't stay for long. We came and it was extremely difficult. We didn't plan to integrate in Poland. We didn't know Polish language. We lived with the Polish people we barely knew in a village where there were no Ukrainians. The most difficult for me was when my 4-year-old communicative girl, she was hiding under the blanket and she was crying and she was saying, "No one loves me because no one understands me and no one speaks my language." She couldn't speak with people, and what was life-saving for my daughter was a dog, because I told my daughter, the dog will understand you in any language and the dog will always play with you. And my daughter now loves dogs, and we feed every single stray dog we see, because the dog saved the mental health of my daughter. This Polish family became my second family and the representation of my new life. In the year of 2022, I divorced with my husband. I quit my job. I made a decision to move to Poland permanently. And in Ukrainian Circle 2023, I was so broken. I was looking like I just survived a storm. We moved. My daughter started attending a new kindergarten. Again, we didn't have any Ukrainians in our small town. I think that God loves me through other people, and I always meet really good people on my way, Ukrainians and people of different nationalities. And Ukrainian Circle became the source of safety for me. It helped me to start planning my life again, to renew myself. In Ukrainian Circle 2024, I came as a psychologist because I understood how much mothers and women need this support wherever they are in the globe, because our children need us and we need to develop this resource. Life does not stop. Children don't wait for the for the better time to grow up. Our children grow up with us every day, and we have to take care of them and love them. Our children need to know that they are Ukrainians, that they can derive strength from their Ukrainian origin. And you know, when you are in a stressed condition, when it passed, I know that we are in safety. My life is quite stable right now, but my physical health started to deteriorate because I think I was experiencing consequence of stress. We don't know how long this war is going to last, but we know for sure that Ukrainians will need psychological support for many, many more years after the war is over. Because we need to renew ourselves and we also need to help our children. I'm eternally grateful to you and thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. We're very glad to have you as part of our team this year. And now we would like to invite Yana to share a couple of words. Yana is in... Everything is okay with the translation? And we understand that we're running a little bit over time that we planned, so I think we'll have Yana's sharing. Then we would also like to invite someone very special whom we met recently to talk about the application, the platform, WebNav. And then we can just have some closing remarks and final reflections and wrap up. So please bear with us for a little bit longer, and thank you for your time and for your patience. Yes, and we would like to invite Yana to share her story. And her story is very special because she made a big difference for our team. Without Yana, we would not have been able to do Ukrainian Circle this year, definitely. It's someone who just jumped onto all the tasks so quickly, and every time really I wake up in the morning praying, thanking God for bringing Yana into our lives. She's just really an amazing person, an amazing professional, and also she's a Ukrainian woman who is in Ukraine now, and Yana is the mother of 5 children. Honestly, I really don't know how she does it, but she's just a very special person, and we would like to invite Yana to share a little bit of her story. Yana? Unmute yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. I am a little bit nervous. My name is Yana. I am the manager of Ukrainian Circle. I am a mother of 5 children, and I am in Ukraine now. And I can tell you what it's like to be a mother of 5 children in Ukraine. Just like as thousands of mothers in Ukraine, every day I face very difficult questions. What can I do to make my children safe? How can I plan my future? It's very difficult for me because holidays are coming and children are asking me, how are we going to celebrate Christmas? And I cannot answer these questions. I don't know if we will wake up tomorrow. This is very difficult because all the sirens, all the news, we don't know. Do I need to hide? Do I need to go to the basement? This exhausts me and my children. But the most difficult part for me is the difficult questions that I face every day. My children wish to just play with their friends. We are very tired, all of us. It's easy to spot a Ukrainian in a crowd because we are tired. You can see exhaustion on our faces because this war is a marathon for us. But we also learned to be strong because we never even imagined that we could be this strong. We found strengths, we discovered strengths in ourselves that we didn't know about. We want to live in our homes, we want to dream, we want to build future. I wanna say for myself that I know that this message will resonate with Ukrainians are very tired, but at the same time, our eyes are glowing. Our eyes are glowing with desire to work hard. What Danny said that only light can save us, that darkness cannot drive out darkness. And I can definitely tell you that in the darkest of times, you can find light and you can keep dreaming. And I'm so happy that there are people that I can see your eyes, I can see the light in you. People are the most valuable resource, and this unity gives me strength. I'm so thankful to be a part of Ukrainian circle because my job is my financial stability, and it is also a circle of like-minded people. People who support me, people with whom I can move forward. I'm the manager of the project, and I can see the scope of work that psychologists do. And I also see the tremendous request from the target audience. Ukrainian circle is an amazing exchange of energy. It's a big basis for many people. I am very, very thankful to have a chance to gather all of you. I have heard about you. I saw your photos, our dear sponsors. I know your stories, and it's my first time seeing you, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much.
Yana. Thank you, Yana. Thank you for joining our team. Thank you for being our rescuer and helping us in all the emergencies. And just thank you really for all the amazing work that you are doing. We love you so much. You know that we would not have been able to do our work without you. And may the Lord keep your family safe. There are so many people we want to thank. Just actually we can just, you know, the list can go on and on and on. Each one of you has your titles, where you work, what you've done, and for me and for us, the most important is actually not only who you are in your professional capacities, but first and most of all, we would like to thank you as people. You have made such a big difference in our lives. Joan, who connected us all together. Danny and Julie, who had also gave us so much love, compassion, and support. Ken Ross, who is not with us today, who is the president of the Elisabeth Kübler-Ross Foundation, which also became a place of connecting us. And to the person who invited me to come to Singapore and who helped us at the beginning of the war tremendously. Santosh, who made the Ukrainian circle possible. There are some people in Singapore who also supported our crisis center. Liz Cruz-Albert and her wonderful community in New Zealand, they were the first people who supported the work of our crisis center. Dr. Katie Eastman, whom we already mentioned, who spent hours and hours with us, encouraging us and just marinating us in love, using the phrase that Liz is often using. There are just so many of you. So please know that our hearts are filled with gratitude and with love to all of you. And we also want to take the opportunity to thank our team. I'm very blessed to have Oleksandra as my partner. We are happy to have Jan as our manager, Irina as our psychologist, Anna, Polina Trofimenko, whom you met, and Evgeny, whom you usually don't see, but he is our tech support person, and without Evgeny, also would not have been able to have so many beautiful PDF materials and videos on YouTube, and deal with Zoom and all other things which we are not very good at because we're psychologists but not tech people. So Evgeny, please know that we're also very, very thankful to you and for all the hard work you are doing. And when we were thinking about how do we operate in general, we came up with a concept, with a model that we called 3 circles of compassion and love. And for us, it looked like there are really 3 circles. There is a circle, and you can see the names and the logos of our key partners, and then it's like 1 circle. Then there is another circle, is our team, and then so people invested something into us as a team, and then we do our work, like Ukrainian circle, and it all goes down to our participants, to the people who took part in the program and whose lives we touched. So we really think about our work as the 3 circles of love, and we just want you to know that the last circle would not have been possible without you. And we're very, very grateful for that. And when we think about the future, because Ukrainian Circle became possible because of technology, and we are psychologists, so technology was not our strength. And not so long ago, Dr. Katie Eastman started talking about app, and someone she met in the United States, in Seattle, who has a heart for humanitarian work. And we were like, oh, this is interesting. So Katie mentioned an app a few times. We had no idea like what this app was about. And then a couple of weeks ago, we had our first meeting. So we met Santosh, and he introduced us to a very interesting platform that's called WebNav. And he showed us a little bit how to use it. We told him about the program, and we started thinking, oh, is there any way we can put Ukrainian Circle onto the app? And it was just really, we didn't have a lot of time to do something, but even from this several hours that we spent together, and then several hours that we played and experimented with the app, we actually felt very excited and inspired, because we understand Ukrainians are scattered all over the world now. Our team is also scattered all over the world now. So for us, the best way to scale up our work and impact is actually through technology. That's why when we met Sitan, we were very, very excited. That's why we started thinking, oh, maybe we are honestly running out of funds now. We don't know whether we will be able to continue our work next year. But when we started dreaming about Ukrainian Circle 2025, we definitely feel in our hearts that technology has to be part of it. And with technology, we can do so much more, and we can touch so many more lives. And what also inspired us that this platform looked like something that we can understand how to use, okay? So for us, it was like a very, very big achievement. So we just want to give the floor to Sitan to thank him very much for joining us in this conversation, in this discussion, and we would like to ask Sitan to share a little bit about the platform, maybe some thoughts that you have, or some ideas or recommendations for the future, how technology can meet the mental health for Ukrainians and perhaps for other countries who are experiencing humanitarian crisis. Thank you, Sitan.
Thank you, Mariia. It's a pleasure and honor to be here today. And I want to thank, a special thanks to Dr. Katie for discovering my app because of curiosity. And she discovered my app and she was instantly encouraging me to participate and use this Ukrainian scenario as a prototype, if you will. So thank you. I'm really touched and honored to be here. I'm overwhelmed by the stories I've heard, and I would like to just say I'd like to support in any way possible, and I hope that this app can fulfill your vision of what it could do. I'm confident it may, and I'm eager to see how it can unfold. This has been a long-term project for me. I've been working on it for, believe it or not, I think it's 18 years now as a side hobby. And I've made many iterations through the process, but the goal originally was to help kids learn information on their own in a Montessori type setting. And now it's evolved into a platform that can be used for a singular purpose, such as the Ukrainian Circle, where we can support your delivery of content to those that need it, no matter where they are, whether they're in Ukraine, in the middle of a battleground, or they're in faraway Singapore, or South Africa, or wherever. And I think this platform may very well be a way in which the community can actually come together and collaborate to build something that supports everyone in every state of repairing the trauma and the pain. And by hearing these stories, it touched me about how everybody needs to hear these stories. And these are universal. They're not specific to Ukraine. I mean, war-torn areas, trauma, distress. And the fact that you've been putting this content together that supports people and guides them through the process of healing is a profound platform. And I am honored to tell you that I want your project to be the first example of my platform's potential. Certainly, it's not just for trauma and stress. It's also good for education and information and sharing knowledge. But if we can do this to help heal the pain, I can't think of a better use. So I'm honored to be included in this conversation, and I look forward to how we can build something together, and I will modify and add features as needed to make the Ukrainian Circle shine. And you guys are doing an awesome job, and I want to support you. So thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. And thank you for making this app easy to use. It's really very encouraging, okay, for people who are not tech savvy. Looking forward also to seeing what we can do together and how can we use this app. We basically reached pretty much the end of our session and speakers. So maybe we can have some closing remarks, or maybe, we wanted to have a panel discussion, but because of some technical challenges and a bit of disruption, and maybe the timing was not ideally perfect, not perfectly planned, but it was just so wonderful to hear all your stories. Thank you so much for coming. So maybe to wrap up, we can just suggest in a free flow format anything anyone would like to share. Sandra, you can stop sharing screen. So if anyone, I don't know, is there anything that touched you, anything that you want to take away with you, anything that you would like to, maybe some ideas for the future that you have, or any recommendations for the soul? And one question actually specific that we would like to put into this space, if anything was possible, in 2025 and beyond, how would you see the potential for this work to be developed? So if anything you want to share that's on your heart or any recommendations for the soul, we would be grateful. Joan? Yeah.
An incredibly inspirational session. Even though I've been following the soul, and Mariia and I've been friends going back for a long, long time from meeting in Ukraine. And just to say, I think that I have spoken about this to you, Mariia, is that I'm also involved with a group called PALCHASE, which is palliative care in humanitarian aid situations and emergencies, as well as with the Elisabeth Kübler-Ross Foundation. And I think there is a tremendous potential for this to be used through these channels as well as the other channels as well, because the work of Elisabeth Kübler-Ross began with humanitarianism. And in fact, all her work had humanitarianism in it. And the work of PALCHASE is seeing how we can bring humanity and all the compassion that comes with palliative care into humanitarian settings, whether they are conflict zones or climate change or migrants and all the, the movement of people, or areas even of deep poverty, where so much of what you are identifying through the soul that you are seeing in conflict settings, we are also seeing. I work with a children's hospice that works in an incredibly impoverished area. And so many of the challenges in conflict, we are also seeing in areas of deep poverty as well. So I think there's huge potential. And I think it's a bright shining light that is coming out of the darkness of this war. So blessings on all your work, and may peace come soon.
Thank you, Joan. Sometimes I look at you and I think, are you Ukrainian? I'm like, no, Joan is actually from the UK. That's because she's not Ukrainian, but she's so passionate, she's like always supporting us also. Thank you so much, Joan. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
One.
Go ahead, Santosh. Go ahead.
Sorry, I guess I should raise my hand. I was in a fundraiser earlier this year raising money for initiatives in Ukraine with children through the expression of art. We did an art exhibit. I would love to see expressions of art from different participants in Ukrainian Circle, just to see how people are expressing themselves through their journeys,
That's a great idea, Santosh. Thank you.
That is a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Healing and therapeutic. Yeah.
Dean has his hand up.
Oh,
You have your hand up, Seaton? Oh, okay. Well, I will speak for what's happening in Seattle. Ever since I met Seaton, we have been collecting different individuals who are very eager to help move forward, putting the Ukrainian Circle on this app and making it accessible and piloting it. And I think I'd like to see that to happen in 2025 and get you fully funded through that. That's my goal. And to quote Scarlett O'Hara, as God is my witness, I will not quit.
Thank you, Casey. Yeah. Technology is the way to go, definitely. And also wonderful idea about the art. And if we can combine art with
absolutely.
I think
you can put the right. You can put the app on, or the art on the app. Yep.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Anyone else wants to say something, share what's on your heart, anything that you are taking with you as a thought to contemplate?
these stories that you've shared today really have touched me, and thank you for sharing. It's fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Thank you all so much. We really hope that you know how much you mean to us, that your support, your love and care. We were just devastated, really. The war just brought so many tragedies. And honestly, especially at the beginning, I don't think that a lot of us thought that we would even make it till 2024. So for us, honestly, the fact that we're here, that all our team is alive, that God was just so kind and compassionate to us, and so loving and so caring that he brought all of you into our lives, and that with you, we could do the work that we loved, and we could bring more light to the people who needed it. It's just, it's a life-changing experience. It's a destiny-changing experience. It's a total transformation for us, because coming from the place of darkness, from one hand, we received so much light and love from all of you. From the other hand, that I think for us, the only way forward is to stay focused on hope, faith, believing, as Santosh said, you know, keep reminding ourselves about the stories like Danny shared, right? That there is light, that pain can be also used as a tool for transformation, that suffering can be also used as something that can help us grow. So we just want to thank you, all of you, for being with us. We hope that the story will continue, that somehow the magic will happen and that there will be new Ukrainian circle next year. We don't know how it's going to evolve, with whom, what will be the format, but we just really trust God that if he has seen us up until this point, he will make things happen for us in the future. And he has brought so many amazing people into our lives, and you are all a source of hope for us. So we would like to thank you once again for supporting our work. We would like to thank you once again for being with us, for holding us in your prayers, for the words of encouragement, for financial resources, for just being there for us. We would like to wish you and your families a wonderful Christmas that's coming soon, to come to the end of the year with a sense of joy and fulfillment because of everything you've done and you've experienced. And just please know that you have a lot of people in Ukraine who love you and who are just so grateful to all of you. And we hope to connect in the future and to continue our meetings and continue creating our stories together. Yeah, I feel like I want to send a heart. I want to send like many, many hearts to many hearts and hearts and hugs. Okay, lots of hearts and love. Oh, hugs for Ukraine, hugs to the world, hugs.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We can end with this therapeutic physical movement named butterfly. You are doing this, yeah, and saying to yourself, I am good. And все буде добре.
Да, все буде добре.
Буде добре. Дякуємо, дякуємо. І дякуємо собі і вам, і собі. Собі і вам. Ми є, тому що ви є. We are because you are.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We hope we will have the recording, probably 2 parts, so we will try to connect the dots, remove the part that we don't need. So thank you for coming back after this disaster.
And personally, from me, there would be an additional small video for 15 minutes about art and culture with our paintings.
Yes,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yes, Sandra prepared wonderful
Thank you.
presentation.
That'll be wonderful. Thank you.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Danny. Good night, good day.
Hi, Danny. Yes, you did.
Are you dropping by, Santosh?
Yeah, I need more coffee.
Are you dropping by? Are you dropping by for Christmas?
I don't know yet. I spent 3 months in India filming, so now I have to like be in an editing room for a while. So,
You must come to Singapore.
I will soon. I will.
Right. Take
I
care.
want to come
Could you
to Singapore Airlines from JFK to